is the BMW R1200 RT, the sport touring bike for you. Let's take a look.
Roll that intro.
I am Anonymous Biker USA.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Let's take a little walk around of this BMW R1200 RT sport touring bike. First impressions, it's a little bigger than I actually thought it would be, but it's a very cool looking bike. Typical BMW horizontally opposed boxer engine, Brembo brakes, and the classic BMW front end. This thing has all the gadgets: heated grips, heated seat, electronically raised and lowered windshield, radio, electronic suspension adjustments, and classic BMW engineering. So let's hop on this for the first time and get the first impressions on this sport touring machine. Alrighty, well, seat height I think is like 31.5 inches, and I am flat footing this, 5'11". Interesting thing, these handlebars lock automatically, and when you push the power button on, they unlock. So there you go, I just turned it on. Quick push of this button right here, and then you can see, I don't know if you can see the display, but you got speedometer, tachometer, run start button. Classic BMW sound. Now let's just go through some of these controls. You have the menu button here, which will walk us through your dynamic electronic suspension adjustment, and that is done through this little toggle wheel right here. You can change the settings to soft, normal, and hard, depending on what kind of riding you're doing, and it's super easy with this little wheel. Pretty awesome. Your windshield is controlled right here, so you can see that all the way up, all the way down. Simple touch of the button here. Classic turn signals horn. This also has traction control. It has ABS, and then you have ride mode. So over here you have road mode, dynamic mode, and rain mode, obviously changing the throttle response. I'm going to put it on dynamic mode and see how it feels. So let's get the gloves on, take a ride, and see what we think. Alrighty guys, so here we are on the BMW R1200 RT. I think this is a 2019 sport touring bike. Seating position, from the torso up, I am pretty upright. From the torso down, more of a sport bike configuration. Legs at a 90-degree angle, but it's comfortable. This bike is a 125 horsepower, 92 foot-pound of torque, and it comes in wet at 608 pounds. It feels actually a little lighter than that. That's that classic BMW engineering that they offer. And I mean, I cannot believe how nimble this bike is for its size and weight. It's pretty amazing. This bike has all the bells and whistles, as I just said. Heated grips, heated seat, radio, the ride modes, and it's got the punchy throttle. So the clutch, you can't even feel like you're pulling it. It's so easy. Typical BMW clutch. This is a liquid cooled 6-speed shaft drive. So let's just take a little ride on this, see what we think. Let this guy get out of our way. We're in second gear. Brembo brakes, always good, obviously. Got these interesting wind deflectors here. in an interesting antenna spot. But yeah, this is very windy, guys, so sorry if there's any wind noise, but yeah, I'm doing 55 without even realizing it. So this thing's got some get up for sure. It's a very, very comfortable bike. We'll get off, we'll do some slow shots, do a walk around. The seat is a little hard. I can imagine if you're on a long trip that might get old. I'm not sure the upgrades available, as BMW and myself aren't that familiar. I've only ridden one other BMW, and that was the BMW GS 1250 adventure bike. I got that video here if you want to check it out. Love that bike. I believe these come in right between like 18 and 21,000 US dollars. And this is a real nice alternative to tour on if you don't want a big heavy cruiser like a Harley Ultra or an Indian Roadmaster or Kawasaki Voyager. This is a real nice option because it's not nearly as heavy or bulky, and you can definitely put some miles on this thing, and you have enough wind protection that you're not going to feel like you're beat up by the end of the day. So whether it's a weekend trip, a long trip, day trip, this is definitely more than a capable machine for sure. Some in the sport touring world call this the ultimate sport touring bike. This would be in the class with the Kawasaki Concours, Yamaha FJR 1300, and maybe the old Triumph Trophy sport touring bike that they stopped making a couple of years ago. But you get the idea. It's in that avenue, and I'm sure this rates just as high as they do, being a BMW. Cruising along third gear, doing 50. I think the speed limit's 50. And yeah, very comfortable. I mean, this you minimal counter steering and you get so much responsiveness on this thing. So let's put the windshield up. Okay, that made a difference. So speed limit is 35, so we're doing 36. Here we got a little corner here. Let's see how it does in these little twisty. Nice. Our suspension dynamic is set on normal, so, and our throttle is dynamic. Oh yeah. So a little bit of twist and your horsepower kicks in for sure. The layout of the dash is nice, you know, easy read, speedometer, tach. You can easily see the LCD screen with your throttle response, your gas, your engine temperature. And you can toggle through, and it has your configuration, consumption, fuel range, tripometer, all that stuff, normal. Can you guys see that, a horse? Now that's horsepower right there. So that's 1 horsepower. This is 125. How's that for a direct comparison? YouTube gold. So who buys this bike? Well, anybody pretty much, but like I said, if you're not into the big heavy cruisers with the tour packs, this is definitely a nice option. And it does come with a detachable trunk that you can take on and off for whatever kind of trips you're doing. So passenger comfort on this, I suppose, is decent. Not 100% sure about that. It's probably not as comfortable as one of those big Ultra Glides with the big trunk and the armrest, but not 100% sure. So let's say anybody buys this bike that's into refined machines with all the bells and whistles, And they want the reliability of the opposing twin boxer engine, infamous from BMW. So we're just cruising along River Road here. It's a nice little windy road. Getting the feel for this bike. So let's get on it a little, try the brakes. Oh yeah, very good brake response. As suspected from the Brembo. One thing that always amazes me with BMW is how easy their clutches are. It's like paper. So you got start heating for your grips here on this menu, start heating your seat, no thank you, and then back to the radio with the speakers right here. Obviously we're not going to try that. We don't want a copyright issue with YouTube. Suspension on this bike is awesome, as expected again from BMW. Their engineers pride themselves on those aspects of their machines. This does feel a lot like a GS 1250. It might even be the same platform. Man, I can't believe you barely touch this thing and it goes. I mean, it's just whoop. For a 608-pound bike, pretty impressive. One thing you got to get used to on this bike is the position of the mirrors. They're way down low over here on each side, and a couple of times I was hunting the look to see where I was, so that's definitely something I got to get used to. I hit a pretty good pothole there, and that suspension was like nothing. Did a great job. This has foot pegs, obviously, and not floorboards, hence the Sport Touring. And guys, this also has a 6.6 gallon fuel tank, which is incredible. You talk about covering miles. Come to a nice easy stop, foot down, both flat foot at the light, no problem at all. Alright, let's see the power getting on and merging on an on-ramp on a bridge over the river with the train track in the middle. Oh yeah, no problem. No problem. Wow. This is where this thing goes. Wow. Yeah, absolutely no problem. Merging up and on ramp onto a bridge. Shifting on this bike, I said the clutch is easy. So is shifting through the gears. You know, some bikes you shift, it's like dunk. This is just like dunk, dunk, dunk. Super simple. This bike about 2.5 hours now. And the one thing I'll do, feel a little bit, because of the aggressive position where you are a little lean forward and your body weight is on your arms more in the bars, definitely reminds me of riding my sport bike much more, where you do feel it in your wrist and a little bit in your triceps. Nothing crazy, but it's just a little side note that if you were doing big mile trips, that may become an issue. But cruise control also will help you rest that arm, and that eliminates that. So let's pull over and take a look at the bike a little closer up, give you some slow shots, and see how it looks. Alright, so here it is. The BMW R1200 RT. Very nice bike. Let's take a walk around and see what it has. First, let's check out the bike. Nice red color. See the back. Classic boxer engine. We have the Brembo brakes, and it has a dual disc ABS in the front, and in the back it is a single disc ABS in the back. So got your saddlebags here. You just push this release, this handle comes up and they slide down. They are side loading, which if you have gear in, sometimes it falls right out. They have these little straps to help you keep the cargo in. It's okay. And then when you put it up, close it, lock it, and that's it. You do have space to mount a trunk on the back if you like. The foot pegs, passenger and rider. The exhaust is nice shiny chrome. It's very quiet. And as far as the controls, like we went over earlier, all your standard, you have your menu, your windshield, traction control, and cruise control, and then your run switch, and then your modes right here for rain, road, and dynamic. So pretty nice looking bike. And with the push button start, this locks, but once you push the button, it'll fire up. There it goes. The handlebars unlock and you're ready to roll. Just push the button, start it up. So turn it off, just push the button. Everything's push button, keyless. And it's the BMW 1200 RT. So overall impressions of this bike, guys, so far. I've been on it almost 3 hours at this point. Very comfortable. The seating position obviously is more sport touring, so upright with a little aggression from the waist down. Not bad, definitely comfortable. And I definitely could see doing a lot of miles on this bike. So the suspension is great, the handling is great, and for the price, I think they come between $18,000 and $21,000. And the nicest thing is, I cannot believe how nimble this bike is for the size, and 608 pounds. I mean, it's just all over with just a little touch of counter steering. So super responsive bike. But what else do you expect from BMW? Would I personally buy a sport touring bike? I'd probably buy every bike. But it definitely is a nice bike, and I can see it definitely has its purpose. And it is a primo choice in the sport touring class, up there with the Kawasaki Concours, the Yamaha FJR 1300. It's a nice looking bike. The red looks well. So let's take some slow motion shots and really show you the bike. You can switch the throttle mode while riding, so you can go from road to dynamic to rain. I'm in road right now. See what road has for us. Obviously it brings it on a little more gradual, and then you go in the rain, it's a little more gradual than that. And then with the traction control, it's just to make sure that you have the utmost traction in the conditions that you're riding in. Safety feature. I would probably ride this bike in dynamic mode most of the time, because that's what we do, right? We ride motorcycles. So just walking around this bike, guys. I'm going to turn it on here real quick. Let's start it up. I want to see these buttons here: on, SRC mode, and memory. So okay, it looks like speaker. No USB. Okay, so this SRC is some USB kind of thing. Mode, Sirius, category, and preset. Okay, so these buttons here are for ease of reach when you're riding, I guess, to control the radio. Little open road here. Second gear, third gear, fourth gear, fifth gear. Hey, got up to a speed limit fairly quickly. And that was not even the sixth gear, and that was fast. So lots of punch on this bike. What do I like about this bike? Well, it's comfortable, big fuel tank, has all the bells and whistles with the heated grips, heated seat, adjustable windshield, radio, and it has some storage, and it does have a detachable trunk that you could add. Easy to handle, light, nimble, maneuverable. Overall, a great bike. The one thing that I'm not crazy about is the size of the saddlebags, and that they are side loading. It has the propensity sometimes that your gear or your cargo may fall out. Not crazy about that, and they're not really that big. So I just guess you got to pack real efficiently when you go on a trip, which is pretty much true for all motorcycle trips, but big cruiser saddlebags seem to be a little deeper. I don't know. Let's see if we can see my reflection in this tanker truck. Look at that. I am Anonymous Biker USA. Another quick thing I found, they got these little compartments here. Pretty cool. One on each side that you can fit some stuff in, not much. You know, your license, title, registration. So that's handy. And then I found this little lock switch, this little key, and it automatically locks the saddlebags. So that's kind of cool. So just press the key button, hear it, lock, and unlock. So another little feature on the BMW R 1200 RT. One thing I find odd is this antenna. I mean, it just kind of like sticks out like bad hair after you just woke up. I don't know, it's kind of weird, but okay. So tell me, everybody out there in YouTube land, is the BMW R 1200 RT a bike that you would pick? Who owns one? Leave it in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think. So the BMW R 1200 RT, an excellent choice for your sport touring needs. Go out and ride one. Give it a try.
I am Anonymous Biker USA.